So, what if I told you you could get a brand new Tesla for less than what you pay for your phone every month? Yeah, it sounds pretty crazy, right? Well, today we're going to break down the story of how one person actually pulled it off. It's this wild mix of rebates, perfect timing, and some super smart tax moves that honestly kind of proves the sticker price is almost never the real price.
Yep, that's the number, $78.39. I mean, seriously, that was the actual effective monthly cost for a brand new Tesla Model 3 in its first year. When you see a number like that, you just gotta ask.
Right? How on earth does a $40,000 car end up costing less than dinner in a movie? Well, let's get into it. And you know, the funny thing is, this whole journey didn't start with some grand financial plan. Nope. It started with a simple late-night impulse buy.
So, picture this. It all kicks off with some casual late-night online window shopping. You know what I'm talking about, right? We've all been there, messing around on a car configurator, building our dream ride just to see the price. You're not actually going to buy it, or so you think.
And this was the bait, $35,000. This was the moment the long-awaited, affordable Tesla Model 3 finally dropped. And that price point, it was just low enough to feel, well, kind of doable. It's the number that got our buyer to open up that new browser tab and start clicking. But of course, as we all know, the base price is never the real price.
So a few little modest upgrades start to creep in. First up, an extra $2,000 for the premium interior. You know, gotta have the better seats, the better sound system. Then a smart move, picking the only free color, black, to keep costs down. But then comes the big one, autopilot. Another $3,000, but for this buyer, it was a total must-have. And boom, just like that, the just-for-fun online shopping spree turns that $35,000 car into a $40,000 car. I mean, it's the classic story of how those options just nickel and dime you all the way up. But here's where it gets wild. What happened next was he actually clicked buy. And the buying process itself? It was just ridiculously easy. The buyer literally said it was as easy as clicking buy it now on Amazon. I mean, think about that. No dealership, no haggling with the salesperson, no pressure. Just click. And that super smooth, almost dangerously easy experience is a massive piece of this puzzle.
Okay, so the car is $40,000. End of story, right? Not even close. Because that is not the number that Tesla puts front and center on their website. Oh no, they show you something much, much lower. And that brings us to this whole idea of estimated savings.
And this right here, this is the number that really gets you. The one that makes you lean in and go, wait a second, maybe I can do this. Tesla's site showed the price after estimated savings as just under $30,000. So the big question is, where in the world are those savings coming from?
So here's the trick. You have to separate what's real money from what's just, well, an estimate. On one hand, you've got actual cash back coming your way, a federal tax credit, and in this case, a California state rebate. But then, Tesla also rolls in their estimate for gas savings over 6 years. And look, that's just a projection, not cash in hand. And it's a little sneaky because you'd save on gas with any EV, not just a Tesla.
Okay, so let's do the real math here. If we just toss out those fuzzy gas savings and only count the cold, hard cash from the rebates, we get a clearer picture. The $40,000 car is really a $33,750 car. Now, that's a much better deal for sure, but it is still a long way from $78 a month. So what's the final massive piece of this puzzle?
And this, my friends, is the masterstroke. This is the secret key that unlocks this entire financial hack. The buyer realized they could use the car for their business. And that one decision, well, it opened up a floodgate of huge tax deductions.
Okay, stick with me, because this is where it gets really smart. Since the car was for his business, he could write off a ton of stuff. First, the interest he paid on the car loan. Then, the sales tax and all those registration fees. And the grand finale, depreciation. That's basically a tax deduction you get because a business asset, like a car, loses value over time. You add all that up, and it created a jaw-dropping $14,000 tax write-off in just the first year.
So what does a $14,000 write-off actually mean in your pocket? Well, it meant our buyer got to lower his taxable income by that whole amount. The result? Almost $5,000 in actual tax savings. We're talking real cash that he got to keep instead of sending it to the IRS. All because that Tesla was now a business expense.
And here we go. This is the aha moment. This is how all the numbers come together. So the total money paid out of pocket in year one, that's the down payment plus all the monthly payments, was about $12,000.
Now take that and subtract the $6,200 from the rebates. Then subtract the almost $5,000 he saved in taxes. And the net cost, the actual cost for the entire first year, was just $941. You divide that by 12 months, and there it is. $78.39. Unbelievable.
I mean, what an incredible result, right? But, and this is a big but, it really depended on a very, very specific set of circumstances all lining up perfectly. So the big question is, could you or I just go out and do this exact same thing today?
Well, the short answer is almost certainly not. This whole thing was like a financial perfect storm. Let's run through the checklist. First, and most importantly, you have to use the car for business. Without that, all those huge tax deductions, gone. You also need to make enough money to actually owe taxes, otherwise the tax credits are useless. Living in a state with big EV rebates like California was absolutely essential. You also have to finance it to write off the interest. And maybe the biggest hurdle of all, this all happened before the federal tax credits for Tesla changed. So yeah, this wasn't just buying a car, it was a brilliantly timed financial move.
But it really gets you thinking, doesn't it? This whole story just goes to show you how knowing the ins and outs, the fine print of taxes, rebates, and financing can totally change the game for a huge purchase. It really makes you wonder, what other massive financial hacks like this are just hiding out there waiting to be found?